be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m.
About time.
Representation matters.
It does.
The time is 10 a.m.
Thank you for tuning into the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. My name is Brandy, and I'm here with Christina. We invite you to listen to our broadcast both live and on demand. Our live sessions are available on the Blind Community Thrift Store YouTube channel, Monday to Friday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. each week. Additionally, you can access on-demand content through the Audio Reader Network, which offers a wide range of audio materials for the visually impaired community. To explore content from the Audio Reader Network, please visit www.reader.ku.edu. The site provides details about accessing content via Amazon Alexa, Audio Reader Network mobile app, and information on receiving a radio to listen to the broadcast by KSMU Radio. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio.
Greene County passes $262 million budget with raises for employees. The Greene County Commission approved a nearly $262 million budget Friday, January 9th, with more than 42% of that budget going toward personnel costs. While the budget includes an anticipated $223.9 million in revenues, an additional $36.7 million in fund balances is budgeted to achieve a balanced budget. Greene County Budget Officer Jeff Scott said at the commission meeting Friday that this is the first time in at least 10 years the county is budgeting to build its cash balances in the general fund by roughly $40,000. Roughly 72% of the county's revenues come from taxes, with trends showing a decline in sales tax growth. Sales tax volumes were budgeted to be flat with 2025 results. Scott told the News-Leader the total expenditure for 2026 are $3.3 million higher than last year. One of the focal points of the new county budget is a 3% cost of living adjustment, COLA, with eligible employees also receiving a 1.5% mid-year merit step. This outpaces the Social Security COLA beneficiaries will receive of 2.8%. Presiding Commissioner Bob Dixon said at the start of the budget season it was not clear whether the budget could include any inflationary pay adjustments, but the county was able to follow through on its commitment to workers. Our people continue to be our top priority, he said. The number of full-time county employees declined by 5 positions, according to budget documents. Scott told the News-Leader the 3% inflationary increase places the minimum pay for county employees at $16.68 an hour. The Greene County Sheriff's Office saw the largest increase in its budget of all departments compared to 2025 of roughly $4 million. This largely was due to personnel cost increases that included $1.5 million from the COLA, a $1.2 million reduction in vacancy estimates, and a $90,000 increase in the amount budgeted for overtime and holiday pay. Operational expenses increased by $377,000 for the Sheriff's Office to account for increasing costs of jail food, jail janitorial costs, and a need for range supplies like ammunition. We had to reduce past vacancy calculations to accommodate some of the overtime that the Sheriff's Office has had to pay with our situation in not being able to fully staff the jail, Scott said. Other county departments also saw appropriation increases for 2026. After the Sheriff's Office, among the highest increases were in the County Clerk's Office, with a $623,000 increase largely due to costs related to the 2026 election season, and a roughly $558,500 increase in court order personnel cost increases, and operational increases for juvenile services. With COVID-19 pandemic relief funds due to be used up by the end of the 2026, the county's budget also includes the final $10.8 million of the American Rescue Plan Act funds. Scott shared with the News-Leader that among the largest projects that still have an outstanding balance are the Borough Behavioral Health's Youth Resiliency Campus, with $2.7 million left, Sankofa Affordable Housing and Business Incubator Space on Commercial Street with nearly $3.3 million remaining, and roughly $2.6 million in county projects like HVAC improvements. Despite the increases in the budget, there will still be millions of dollars of budget requests that went unfunded going into 2026. Scott said in total, $8.6 million in requests went unmet, most of which were from commission requests that include several departments and another $1 million from the Sheriff's Office. This was a challenging year in the sense that we didn't have the funds to meet the needs of all of the office holders, Dixon said. We have needs now that need to be funded in the future. Unfunded requests from the Sheriff's Office were primarily related to personnel, including a separate wage proposal and the addition of positions for security at the expanded judicial campus. The county budget document notes that employee salary needs were addressed in lieu of equipment and vehicle replacement, which continues to be delayed. Scott told the News-Leader that deferring equipment replacement, such as cameras in the jail, is an ongoing concern. While the 2026 budget does include an increase of $993,000 in capital investment for information systems to address some of these replacements, he said there are far more that are nearing the end of functional life. Although the county has a goal of replacing 30 vehicles per year, Scott said that goal has not been met for several years. If you delay replacing some of those equipment-type pieces, sooner or later it's going to catch up to you, he said. There's discussions with each of the office holders. Do you think you'll be able to get by with what you have so that we can focus on trying to keep the employee pay at least keeping up with inflation? Commission requests include several smaller departments like information systems, human resources, emergency management, among others. These saw more than $4.2 million in unmet requests, which Scott said were primarily personnel position requests and vehicle requests. The Springfield Greene County Health Department had requested nearly $247,000 for community mental health research that was not funded in the 2026 budget. This would have funded personnel and operational support to launch new outreach services. An additional $200,000 was requested but not funded beyond the typical $1 million the county funds for general administration of the health department.
This is from the Springfield News-Leader. Barbie launches first autistic doll. It has sensory-sensitive stimming features. It's so important for young autistic people to see authentic, joyful representations of themselves, and that's exactly what this doll is, said Executive Director of Autistic Self-Advocacy Network. articles by Melinda Kahn in USA Today. Barbie is launching its first autistic doll in an effort to represent how individuals with autism spectrum disorder experience the world around them, USA Today can exclusively reveal. The doll, which is part of Barbie's Fashionistas line, includes intentional design choices like flexible elbow and hand joints for stimming, which refers to repetitive body movement behavior some people with autism engage in to process sensory information. The Barbie's accessories also reflect those that some autistic people sport, like noise-canceling headphones, loose-fitting clothing, and a tablet with augmentative and alternative communication apps. Mattel said the doll has been in development for more than 18 months in partnership with the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, a nonprofit disability rights organization that aims to empower the autistic community. The Barbie will be available beginning January 12th at Mattel Shop and Target for a suggested retail price of $11.87. It will later roll out to Walmart stores nationwide in March. Autism in the spotlight. The new Barbie doll arrives as the autism community has faced extra attention in the national spotlight over controversial assertions from President Donald Trump's administration. In September 2025, Trump and his top health aides announced that Tylenol use during pregnancy could contribute to the development of autism in children, a position many in the medical community have disagreed with for years. Health agencies across the world and other medical experts have not found a definitive link between Tylenol and autism, though that hasn't stopped some in the autism community from championing efforts to find a cure or reason why their child is autistic. Meanwhile, portrayals of people with autism have increased in popular culture thanks to shows like Love on the Spectrum and The Good Doctor. And with the advent of the new Barbie, people with autism will now see themselves reflected in the iconic quintessential children's doll. It is so important for young autistic people to see authentic, joyful representations of themselves, and that's exactly what this doll is, Colin Killick, Executive Director of ASAN, said in a statement. The partnering with Barbie allowed us to share insights and guidance through the design process to ensure the doll fully represents and celebrates the autistic community, including the tools that help us be independent. Autism is not a physically visible disorder, but some people with autism may rely on certain items or types of clothing as they move through the world, which Barbie tried to reflect in the doll and its accessories. The Barbie with autism is designed with an eye gaze shifted slightly to the side, which aims to reflect how some members of the autistic community may sometimes avoid direct eye contact, Mattel said in a release. According to a 2022 study in the Journal of Autism and Developmental Disorders, researchers have varying theories about why autistic people may avoid eye contact, but many studies point to hyperactivity in a part of the brain known as the amygdala. Each doll comes with the same accessories: a pink finger clip fidget spinner, pink noise-canceling headphones, and a pink tablet. The tablet shows symbol-based augmentative and alternative communication apps, which help people who have an impairment or limitation in speech, language, or reading, including those with autism, according to the American Speech Language Hearing Association. The Barbie's outfit is a loose-fitting pinstriped A-line dress and purple Mary Jane-style flat shoes. Mattel said the dress is flowy so as to provide less fabric-to-skin contact, and the shoes promote stability.
Missouri state researchers mapped the remnants of an unknown Amazon culture. There's a picture of Dr. Daniel Pierce and Christopher Bodine. Surrounded behind them is a chalkboard, a green chalkboard. They're sitting at a computer with equipment that they're looking at and tables filled with artifacts that they found through LiDAR. Archaeologists around the world dream of making the kind of discovery that Missouri State University's Dr. Daniel Pierce and Christopher Bodine made last year. Deep in the Amazon, the pair uncovered evidence of an unknown civilization using LiDAR technology. What we found are geoglyphs, Bodine says. They're big shapes, circles, squares, 400 feet or so across. Roads or paths radiate from these shapes in different directions. For Dr. Pierce, the journey began with curiosity. Years ago, while studying in Guatemala, he became fascinated by how thick jungles are and how easily entire buildings can be lost in the green. While there, he picked up the nonfiction book The Lost City of Z by David Gran, a story about an explorer named Percy Fawcett who explored the Amazon and went missing in 1925, never to be found again. And something clicked. I was reading about this guy getting lost exploring the Amazon while I myself was actually in a jungle at the time exploring off-trail, Dr. Pierce says. I was like, this would be it, a dream come true. When he returned to the United States, he spent time cold calling people who did any kind of work in the Amazon. After a few years, he landed at Missouri State University and started working with Bodine. The idea of exploring the Amazon still lingered in his mind, and it didn't take much convincing to get Bodine on board. There's pictures of more artifacts that they found, while broken pieces of pottery. While reviewing open-source satellite data, Bodine spotted something that didn't belong, massive geometric patterns etched into the forest floor, some stretching hundreds of feet across. These clearly weren't natural formations because they were too precise. The team began using LiDAR data, laser-based mapping that can see through trees, and a clearer picture came into view. There were roads connecting the shapes, traces of what could be communal spaces or ceremonial centers. These features are nearly 1,000 miles north of where known sites exist, suggesting this culture was far more widespread than previous researchers ever realized. Dr. Pierce and Bodine are hoping their discoveries can help educate the public. Even though we're not the first people to ever find geoglyphs in the Amazon, we're some of the first people to find them, and this is maybe the first time a lot of people have heard of them, Dr. Pierce says. Being back in Missouri makes the discovery especially meaningful for Bodine. He grew up in the Ozarks, earned his undergraduate from the University of Missouri, studied in Europe for graduate school, and is now pursuing his PhD at the University of Arkansas. It would be nice to be able to build something here in the area where someone doesn't have to do that if they don't want to, Bodine says. They can do international high-impact research here. Dr. Pierce, originally from St. Louis, attended the University of Missouri St. Louis for undergrad. He received both his master's and PhD from the University of Missouri-Columbia. He then worked in France for 2.5 years and then went to the University of Central Florida for a couple of years before finding his place at Missouri State University. In December, Dr. Pierce and Bodine began their in-person journey through the Amazon to see their discoveries for themselves. The data they've collected isn't perfect. There are resolution issues, and while it's easy to make assumptions about what they've found through data, it's impossible to say for certain without seeing it themselves. Dr. Pierce says they have the data and plan in place, and now it's a matter of seeing what's truly out there. When they get back, they plan to publish their findings and raise funds for a broader project to map larger areas of the jungle that have never been mapped. They also have several other projects they're working on simultaneously, including ones in Mongolia, Kenya, Greece, Mexico, Cahokia, and Yellowstone National Park. Funding can be a challenge, but through Missouri State and their nonprofit, Terra Incognito Research Institute, they're able to keep going. We're big stuff people, Dr. Pierce says. We're coming from other universities that do big stuff, so that's what we're used to. We'll find our own way.
This is from the Springfield Daily Citizen. Wild Bill Hickok found guilty of manslaughter in mock trial. Students with Leadership Springfield's Academy class reenacted the 1865 trial in Judge Derek Ancrum's courtroom. Judge Jody Stockard played the role of Judge Sempronius Pony Boyd by Jackie Rewald. There's a picture of one girl handing a fake watch to a girl sitting down, and then there's a judge behind the cabinet in the courtroom. The bailiff, played by Mylon Smith of Ozark High School in the front, is handed a fake watch by Ella Weiss of Springfield Catholic High School, who played the prosecutor during the mock trial. Photo by Ellie Freistack. More than 160 years after James Wild Bill Hickok and Davis Tutt exchanged fire on the Springfield Square in the famous shootout that left Tutt dead, the legendary gunslinger was found guilty of manslaughter this week in a Greene County courtroom. The mock trial played out in Judge Derek Ancrum's courtroom on Wednesday, January 7th, as part of the Leadership Springfield Academy's classes, Government and History of Springfield Day. The jury, made up of high school students from the Academy class, deliberated for a few minutes before announcing the verdict to Judge Sempronius Pony Boyd, played by Greene County Judge Jody Stockard. There's a picture of a guy with very curly short hair and a mustache with his hand up. His name is Emrit Therakan of Central High School, and he played the titular Wild Bill Hickok during the mock trial. Photo by Ellie Freistag. Before Hickok's mock trial began, students got to question Judge Ankrum and Judge Stockard about their profession and about the legal system. Asked why he wanted to become a lawyer, Ankrum shared with the students that his grandfather had been a Polk County judge for 20 years, and that he grew up seeing the respect people had for his grandfather. What really solidified it, though, for me, was in high school I participated in mock trials, and I participated in debate, Ankrum said. I realized very quickly that I enjoyed both of those things, and I wasn't terrible at either. There's a picture of Greene County Judge Derek A. Ankrum as he talks to high school students about the life and times of being a lawyer and a judge. Photo by Ellie Freistag. Students use scripts to reenact famous trial. For the mock trial, students were assigned characters and given scripts to reenact the trial. Some of those scripts came from the actual court transcripts and documents from Hickok's trial in 1865. Some of those scripts came from news reports from the time, portions of which are now believed to be embellished and inaccurate. In the real trial, held a few weeks after the fatal shootout, the jury deliberated about 10 minutes before finding that Wild Bill Hickok had acted in self-defense. There's a picture of Jill Hodge with a green top and a black skirt, an education specialist with the History Museum on the square, as she tells students about the events of the actual shooting that now defines our notion of the Wild West Showdown. Photo by Ellie Freistag. Jill Hodge, an education specialist with the History Museum on the square, gave students background information about what happened and where the testimonies came from before the trial began. The shootout itself was July 20th, 1865, right after the end of the Civil War, Hodge said. The very next day, the coroner called witnesses from the square and had a coroner's inquest on the 22nd, and then they didn't go to trial until August. Hodge went on to explain that for decades it was assumed all of those original documents were lost. However, a box of court documents was found in 1997 that shed light on what the witnesses testified to in 1865. There's a picture of Greene County Judge Jody Stockard as she instructs the mock trial jury on their duties. Photo by Ellie Freistag. For a very long time, all we knew was that these two men, that Hickok came down from South Avenue and he walked into the square and he shot Tut. And it was about a 75-yard shot, she continued. That's where in 1975 they placed the markers on the square. This event was a big deal, and they published an article about it in a national magazine, and suddenly Wild Bill was this mythic figure that had this amazingly overblown and elaborate story about him. Hodge told the students, when you read your testimonies, I don't want you to share whether it was transcribed or adapted. This is up to the jury to decide if they believe you or not. Hickok was played by Emrit Therakan from Central High School. There's a picture of Campbell Walton of Greenwood Laboratory School, she played the defense attorney for Wild Bill, wearing a matching mustache with her client. Photo by Ellie Freistag. Defense attorney John S. Phelps, who would later serve as governor of Missouri from 1876 to 1881, was played by Campbell Walton from Greenwood Laboratory School. Prosecutor Robert Fyan was played by Ella Weiss from Springfield Catholic High School. Local historians share findings on Wild Bill. Seated in the back row of the courtroom gallery on Wednesday were Wild Bill experts Brian Grubbs with the Springfield Greene County Library and Bob Allen, a volunteer with the History Museum on the square. Following the mock trial, they shared with students more from their research on Hickok. There's a picture of Emily Chinlund of Springfield Catholic High School as she's sworn in as a witness to the Wild Bill murder mock trial. Photo by Ellie Freistag. Grubbs, the library's manager of local history and genealogy, explained that he and his team have closely studied the original sources from 1865 and newspaper articles from the time. Through their research, they put together the notion that Hickok was walking in the opposite direction than previously believed, moving toward Tut in the southwest corner of the square, rather than where the marker was placed. I actually think that Hickok and Tut were friends, that this was a byproduct of intoxication and miscommunication, Grubbs said. They've been noted to walk around town together. They gambled together frequently. They exchanged money together frequently. So I think was a situation that got out of hand. Allen explained that the Hickok and Touch shootout was the very first recorded one-on-one quick-draw gunfight in the Old West. After the shootout on the Springfield Square, similar gunfights happened maybe 3 or 4 times, he said. There's a picture of the bailiff played by Mylene Smith of Ozarks High School in the front as she laughs as Francie Claire Sutherland of Logan Rogersville High School gives testimony as a witness with a thick accent, photo by Ellie Freistack. It is an example that the Hollywood has used to portray gunfights in the Old West, Allen said. What the significance of this gunfight is, it's the very first one, because what we've seen on TV and in the movies is that gunfights like this happened all the time. Allen told the students that Hickok had been a spy and scout for the Union Army and was known as a spy extraordinaire. He fought in the Battle of Wilson's Creek as well as the Battle of Pea Ridge, Arkansas. His actual experiences are more amazing than fiction. I wish they would make a movie based on his life without trying to embellish it with this crazy stuff these movies have done in the past, Allen said. His life is an amazing history. Hodge with the History Museum told students that prior to the 1865 shootout, Hickok was a well-respected man in Springfield, known for his service in the Civil War. Following the shootout, Hickok tried to run for Springfield City Marshal, but lost. Enough people in town after the gunfight felt he was too hot-headed and that he didn't have the right character to be town marshal, Hodge said. Soon after the failed bid for town marshal, Hickok moved to Kansas and later joined the Buffalo Bill Cody Wild West show. He was shot dead at a poker table in 1876 in South Dakota. Leadership Springfield's Academy Class. Leadership Springfield's Academy Class is a 7-month program for high school juniors and seniors in which students explore their strengths, learn about the local community, and see firsthand how leaders work together to structure and influence the community around them. The application for 2026 to 2027 school year's Academy class opens February 2nd and closes on April 6th. It is a free-of-charge program. More information and a form to sign up for an application notifications can be found here. Wild Bill Trial Program, available to students in 8th through 12th grade. Wednesday's trial was the pilot for the History Museum on the Square's Wild Bill Mock Trial Program, which will be available for 8th to 12th grade students starting in February. This is part of the History Museum's Civics on the Square programming, supported by the Musgrave Foundation's multi-year impact grant for student citizenship and support from the Community Foundation of the Ozarks. The goal is to bring history to life with interactive mock trial experience for middle and high school students at the History Museum on the Square. Students step into the roles of lawyers, witnesses, and jurors to reenact the 1865 trial. Students will examine evidence, evaluate testimony, and determine whether Wild Bill Hickok is guilty. They also get an idea of how a jury trial works, practice decision-making, and civic responsibility, and connect with Springfield's history in a meaningful way. This program can be experienced at the museum as a part of a field trip, but it is also available to present at your school, library, gym, cafeteria. Learn more and schedule your field trip or school program at historymuseumonsthesquare.org/education/ or call 417-831-1976.
I'm getting that website down. Looks fun. All right, upcoming activities in the area. You've got January 12th through the 14th. Meredith Wilson's The Music Man is going to be at Anita K. Hammond's Hall for the Performing Arts. You'll hear familiar songs like 76 Trombones in this beloved Broadway musical, one of my favorites, about Swindler Harold Hill, his love interest Marion the Librarian, and a boys band in the town of River City, Iowa. Today, January 13th, you have the Great Cheeses tasting event at Pickwick and Cherry. Let me get the details on that. It is tonight from 7:15 to 8:15 p.m. at Pickwick and Cherry Kitchen, 607 South Pickwick, the rear door, Springfield, Missouri. If you've ever stared at a bountiful cheese counter and pondered what exactly is a mimolette, this is the tasting for you. Our expert cheese maker, Ryan Mihalik, will lead you on a tour of some of the world's great cheeses and help you develop the confidence to buy, cook with, and devour cheese with confidence. The phone number is 417-616-3303. 417-616-3303. Also, tomorrow is going to be everyday juicing at Finley Farms. That is from 6 to 8 p.m. January 14th at 840 Finley Farms Lane in Ozarks, Missouri. Learn the ins and outs of juicers, helpful juicing tips, how to select and prepare produce, and discover delicious recipes packed with nutrients. Fresh juice is full of natural vitamins and minerals that are easy to digest and quickly absorbed by the body. Regular juicing can help boost your immune system, increase energy, enhance mental clarity, support weight management, promote healthy skin, and aid in disease prevention through the power of fresh produce. And you can contact Finley Farms for more information or their event website.
This is from the Springfield Business Journal. Drury University names new leader of Law Enforcement Academy by Claudette Riley. Michael Boone, a veteran of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, has been named Executive Director of Drury University's Law Enforcement Academy. His first day was January 5th. I'm looking forward to preparing the recruits in the Drury Law Enforcement Academy to be the next guardians of our communities, said Boone in a news release. I was a police officer for over 21 years, spending significant time instructing at the academy and also teaching on a national level. I'm excited to be a part of the Drury family. Boone worked for 8 years as an academy training and counseling officer with the Las Vegas Police Department and served as legal instructor with Blue to Gold law enforcement training since February 2021. There was significant interest in the Drury position, vacated by Christopher Johns, a former Springfield police officer who stepped down in May to become the Bolivar police chief. Mike's extensive experience as both an officer of the law and a trainer, plus his enthusiasm for preparing the next generation of public safety officers, put him at the top of the over 80 applications we received, said Kevin Croft, Executive Vice President of Enrollment Management at Drury, in a news release. There has never been a better time to prepare for a career in law enforcement at Drury. I know Mike is excited to extend our partnerships with local agencies and in meeting the next class of LEA recruits. Nearly all graduates of the 750-hour training academy are recruited by regional law enforcement agencies. It is separate from the academy operated by the Springfield Police Department. Boone will oversee day-to-day operations and compliance with Missouri's peace officer standards with training. An experienced trainer on report writing and Fourth Amendment issues, Boone will also be responsible for updating the firearms curriculum to include rifle, handgun, and shotgun components. Boone has a bachelor's degree in kinesiology from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Man allegedly wanted to build Lego truck with stolen vehicles by a man from Seymour described in court documents as a persistent offender is suspected in multiple stolen vehicle cases. Photographed here are a couple of sheriff's office vehicles, an SUV and a cruiser. Christian County. Carter Cantrell, born in 2000, is charged with felony stealing and 3 counts of tampering with a motor vehicle in Christian County after prosecutors say he is suspected of being involved in several stolen vehicle cases in the Springfield area. A Christian County deputy described Cantrell in court documents as an incorrigible career criminal. According to a probable cause statement, a Christian County Sheriff's deputy observed photos and text messages on Cantrell's cell phone that pointed to multiple thefts of heavy-duty trucks which were being parted out, with the suspect mentioning that he was building a Lego truck. The document describes Cantrell's interactions with law enforcement and alleged thefts between December 24th and December 30th, 2025. Law enforcement agents from multiple counties and municipalities responded to thefts and incidences in the areas of Marionville, Fordland, Republic, Nixa, and Highlandville in which Cantrell is suspected of being involved. Cases involve multiple Ford trucks and a stolen trailer. Around 11 p.m. on Christmas Eve, a Missouri State Highway Patrol trooper responded to a crash on Highway 60 in Greene County and spoke to Cantrell. Cantrell was driving a 2000 Ford F-250 and was involved in a crash with another vehicle, according to the statement. The driver of the other vehicle later called the Aurora Marionville Police Department on December 29th. He said his insurance company notified him that the Ford F-250 in the crash had been stolen from a Marionville mechanic's garage. In a separate incident, Webster County Sheriff's deputies responded to a vehicle theft at R&J's Auto Sales in Fordland on December 27th, the document states. The theft was in reference to a 2001 Ford F-350. Surveillance footage showed the truck drive off the lot at 10:50 p.m. on December 26th. On December 30th, the Republic Police Department was dispatched to Corwin Ford in Republic for a reported theft of a 2013 Ford F-350. A witness provided surveillance footage that showed a man stealing the truck off the lot around 4:30 a.m. Separately, Nixa police officers were dispatched to Nixa's lifted and lowered golf carts on December 30th. The business owner said a 40-foot gooseneck trailer was stolen from the lot. He provided surveillance footage of a Ford F-350 driving off the trailer with the trailer around 5 a.m. that morning. And then pictured here is lifted and lowered golf carts having several camera angles showing the trailer being driven off the lot. And putting up that there is a $5,000 reward if found on their social media page. In reviewing the footage, the truck appeared to be the Ford F-350 that was stolen from Corwin Ford approximately 30 minutes earlier, the document states. However, the suspect was not caught that day. Stone County Sheriff's deputies later recovered the truck stolen from Corwin Ford unattended and with front-end damage on January 2nd. A witness contacted the Christian County Sheriff's Office with a new lead January 1st. He had been in touch with Cantrell, who wanted to meet him at a church and was attempting to sell him an F-250 truck and a 40-foot trailer, according to the probable cause statement. The witness was prompted to contact the sheriff's office after he learned from social media about recent truck and trailer thefts. After speaking to the witness, sheriff's deputies responded to Finley River Cowboy Church at 217 Birdie Circle in Highlandville on January 1st. At the church, sheriff's deputies located the Ford F-250 stolen from Marionville sitting on the trailer stolen from Nixa. The U.S. Marshals Violent Fugitive Task Force later located Cantrell at a Christian County address between Nixa and Highlandville on January 5th. At this property, law enforcement officers observed Cantrell back the stolen F-350 from R&J Auto Sales in Fordland into a barn, the document says. The truck was recovered but missing its flatbed. The front bumper and license plate of the F-350 stolen from Republic were found in a garage. Cantrell was in possession of numerous pills and suspected methamphetamine, the document states. Cantrell was interviewed at the Christian County Jail on January 5th. He denied stealing any vehicles or knowing they were stolen, while refusing to say from whom he received the stolen trucks that he witnessed driving, according to the probable cause statement. Deputies obtained a search warrant for Cantrell's cell phone. They discovered text conversation and photos related to the stolen trailer and vehicles, according to the statement. I also located additional photos and text messages that likely involved additional thefts of heavy-duty trucks, which were being parted out, with Cantrell mentioning that he was building a Lego truck, the document states. That investigation is still pending. A felony complaint states if Cantrell is convicted of the Christian County charges, he faces an extended term of imprisonment because he has been convicted of 2 or more felonies committed at different times. Previously, Cantrell was charged with felony burglary in Douglas County in 2020 and felony tampering with a motor vehicle in Webster County in 2021. A warrant for Cantrell's arrest asks that he be detained without bond.
This is from the Springfield Business Journal. Republic Health Shop changes ownership and location by Mike Cullinan. A Republic business that started as a healthy drink shop has expanded its products alongside a name, ownership, and location change within the past few months. January 9th was the grand opening for the new location of Rise Apothecary, LLC at 315 U.S. Highway 60 East, Suite D, said owners Alex and Michael Anantuk. Alex Anantuk said he and his wife became owners of the business on October 1st, having purchased the venture, previously named Rise Nutrition, for an undisclosed price from a trio of sisters, Shelby Cotter, Brittany Devahan, and Ashley Will. The sisters launched the shop previously at 1652 U.S. Highway 60 East in the Town East Center in January 2022, according to past Springfield Business Journal reporting. Anantuk said he and his wife were vendors at Rise Nutrition, selling natural hand soaps through their home-based business, Four Ladies & Co. LLC. When they learned that the sisters were planning to sell their business, the couple's interest was piqued. We already do soaps, he said. We want to introduce new products, and we love the idea of the apothecary side, so why don't we consider buying it? That led to a quick offer from the couple, which Anantuk said the sisters agreed to immediately. The change for the name is that they were more focused on the nutrition side, such as their healthy energy drinks, their healthy protein shakes, but we wanted to expand that and grow on the apothecary side. He said, noting the shop now has refill stations where customers can bring in containers or purchase one from the shop for products such as laundry detergents, soaps, and shampoos. Rise Apothecary also now offers products for body care, child wellness, hair care, and wellness, such as herbal supplements. It also continues to sell healthy energy drinks and protein shakes. Startup costs for the new location were roughly $40,000, Anantuk said, declining to disclose the 5-year lease rate with landlord Victor Pollock. The 1,200 square foot shop is a newer retail strip center that also includes a tropical smoothie cafe, Anantuk said. While the Republic couple expects there will be a need to hire new employees this year, the shop is currently staffed by the Anantuks with help from their 4 daughters, who range in age from 11 to 14. Michael said they were feeling a bit nervous but excited, heading into their grand opening, which extended into January 10th. The turnout that we had for Friday and Saturday was really just refreshing to see how excited so many people were about the refillery and just what we were bringing to the community, she said. So it kind of helped ease some of the unknowns for us to see and hear the excitement of what we're doing.
This is from the Pokin' Around, the answer man on the Springfield Daily Citizen, Steve Pokin. Answer man, I went for a walk the other day at the Missouri Veterans Cemetery, and I noticed there was a very large pile of dirt. I knew immediately I had to tell you. Zoe McIntyre, newsroom colleague of NICSA. And pictured is Scott Smith, is the ground maintenance supervisor at Springfield Veterans Cemetery, and he is standing in the cemetery with all of the tombstones behind him. Thanks, Zoe. I should mention here that I majored in journalism at the University of Illinois with a specialty in covering big piles of dirt and large holes in the ground. I visited this pile of dirt, and yes, it's big. The summit is about 12 feet. For the answer, I went to Scott Smith, the grounds maintenance supervisor at Missouri Veterans Cemetery at 5201 Southwood Road, which is the Veterans Cemetery along the James River. Springfield has 2 veterans cemeteries. There is another picture of a big pile of dirt with a construction vehicle. The hill of dirt at Springfield Veterans Cemetery is called the Spoils Pile. The pile of dirt is called the Spoils Pile, he says. It's leftover dirt from the in-ground burials. Why is there leftover dirt? Basically, it's because a casket takes up space in the ground, so not all of the dirt removed from the ground needs to be placed back in the ground to cover the casket. Also, many veterans are buried at the same grave site as their spouse. The graves are stacked on one on another. The burials typically take place years or even decades apart. A grave for 2 is 7 feet deep, and a grave for 1 is 5 feet deep. There we go. When the first person dies and is buried, there is 7 feet of dirt removed, and once the coffin is placed in the ground, 5 feet is put back in the ground to cover it. That leaves extra dirt, and it goes into the spoils pile. When the partner dies, he or she is buried above the first casket, and dirt from the spoils pile can be used to supplement the dirt needed to cover the second casket, Smith tells me. Dirt in the spoils pile also occasionally is used for other cemetery projects, such as landscaping. The height of the spoils pile varies a bit over the course of the year, he says. The cemetery gives away fill dirt to contractors or others who say they need it. If you want the dirt, you have to bring your own dump truck. We will load it for you, he says. And pictured is a covering for some of the dirted area.
This is from 417 Magazine. Randy Berger, Metallica mega fan, Randy Berger works as Administrative Director of Corporate Communications at Cox Health. What you may not know is that he's been to 59 Metallica concerts by Molly Haynes. And there's a picture of a man with dark hair and a gray beard and mustache with a Metallica concert t-shirt. And then it appears that he's at an arena for another concert. In 1996, Randy Berger attended his first Metallica concert, and he hasn't looked back since. I got really into them at the middle school age, Berger says. I got lucky with a band that has had this kind of longevity. Berger saw the group live for the first time in college and was immediately hooked. They had a tour my sophomore year at Drury, and we went to see Metallica, Berger says. That pretty much sold me. Fast forward to the present, Berger now works as an administrative director of corporate communications at Cox Health and has seen 59 of the band's concerts and has even been in the Snake Pit. Berger encourages anybody thinking about going to a concert to give it a try because it will elevate your interest and love for the band. However, if you do go, his parting words of wisdom are to invest in earplugs. You will not regret having a little bit of hearing protection, Berger jokes.
Moving on to this day in history, in 1404, the threat of alchemy. King Henry IV of England outlawed alchemy on this day in 1404 by preventing the creation of gold from base metals. The goal of alchemy, Henry was trying to prevent challenges to his reign, and his law was eventually repealed in 1688. In 1808, Salmon P. Chase, Secretary of the Treasury in Abraham Lincoln's wartime cabinet and 6th Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, was born in New Hampshire. In 1832, Horatio Alger, one of the most popular American authors in the last 30 years of the 19th century, and perhaps the most socially influential American writer of his generation, was born in Chelsea, Massachusetts. In 1898, novelist and critic Émile Zola published an open letter titled J'accuse, denouncing the French general staff for its role in the 1894 treason court-martial of Alfred Dreyfus, a Jewish officer in the French army whose conviction was fueled by anti-Semitic sentiment. In 1942, American industrialist Henry Ford patented plastic automobile construction. Johnny Cash, in 1968, recorded the album Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison in front of an audience of some 2,000 inmates. Its success helped Cash to reestablish himself as one of country music's most relevant artists, and he followed it with Johnny Cash at San Quentin in 1969. In 1990, Douglas Wilder was sworn in as the governor of Virginia, making him the first popularly elected African-American governor in the United States. 1997, President Abdallah Bucaram Ortiz of Ecuador visited President Alberto Fujimori of Peru, marking the first official visit to Peru by an Ecuadorian president in 150 years. In 2012, the Costa Concordia, a cruise ship carrying some 4,200 people, ran aground and capsized off Giglio Island in Italy. 32 people died, and the ship's captain was convicted and jailed for his role in the disaster. And in 2021, Donald Trump became the first U.S. president to be impeached twice after the House of Representatives approved an article of impeachment that accused him of encouraging his supporters to storm the Capitol in an effort to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. Trump was later acquitted by the Senate.
This is from 417 Magazine, an open letter to the new Springfield City leadership by Lucy Amberg. As Springfield, Missouri looked ahead to the election of a new mayor and the selection of a new city manager, Biz 417 reached out to business leaders and asked what they'd like our city's next leadership team to know. And wow, did the business community respond. We heard a ton about planning and zoning, city government operations, culture, and community relationships. We've compiled as much as we can into this open letter, which is written from the point of view of a town we all love, the city of Springfield. Dear new Springfield City leadership, you've signed up to guide my next chapter, and I can barely contain my excitement. Look at what you bring to the table: sparkling energy, fresh determination, and a steadfast commitment to me, the city of Springfield. Honestly, I've got a lot going for me, too. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, my metro area, which includes my besties, Nixa, Ozark, Republic, Bolivar, Marshfield, and Willard, is the fastest growing in Missouri. Plenty of big-name companies also call me home, including Bass Pro Shops, Prime Incorporated, SRC Holdings Corporation, Jack Henry and Associates, Forbes Mazars, and Fortune 500 listee O'Reilly Auto Parts. I've got the largest accredited school district in the state, a good thing since the median age of a Springfieldian sits at a spry 33.6, well below the national average. And whether you're looking for top-notch frozen custard or a killer 3-part harmony, you can count on me to deliver. We have so many reasons for optimism, but recent years have sometimes felt challenging. We went through a pandemic, and though key stats, such as our unemployment rate, rebounded, those days changed me. Anxieties about housing and growth, erosion of our public discourse, a hazy undercurrent of mistrust, uncertainty about downtown. It's like my own case of long COVID. You may recall a few sharp disputes. In both Galloway Village and University Heights, residents and property developers struggled to find common ground. And depending on your perspective, a new 7 Brew on East Sunshine Street was either a cheery jolt of drive-through caffeine or a commute-clogging encroachment. These were complicated experiences, and I resist characterizing them in simple good guy, bad guy terms. But when I think about them, I feel a little banged up. I've got some scars. The truth is, I'm not the picturesque hamlet I once was, and I'm not the powerhouse metropolis I might become. I'm something in between, and as anyone who remembers middle school can tell you, in between is a tricky phase to be. So at this pivotal moment, I sought insight from business leaders who've given a lot of thought to my future. In this case, helpful. I've compiled a few of their reflections and ideas. Creating conditions for growth. We find ourselves at this intersection of opportunity, says Max Buto, President CEO of Cox Health. For him, it's time to build on our successes with amped-up collaboration between city officials and local businesses, powered by the understanding that everyone's working toward a shared vision. Great communities have great relationships with businesses, he says. Businesses spread and grow economic vitality. Economic vitality means we've got great places to live, great amenities, and a solid tax base. He's one of many who voiced support for updating the city charter and the Springfield City Code and Ordinances. Chapter 36 of the City Code, aka the Land Development Code, was a particular point of interest for business leaders who shared their feedback with us. Steve Childers, Director of Planning and Development for the City of Springfield, says that modifications are underway. The Land Development Code is still being modified based on internal and external output. It is currently being tested using real projects, and it sets forth the regulatory standards that align with the vision of Springfield's comprehensive plan, Forward SGF. Some business leaders we spoke to shared their hope that zoning updates will expand opportunities to increase density in lots reserved for single-family homes. Much of Springfield is built on 1/5 or even 1/4 of an acre. The image of the big yard, the picket fence, says Amy Blansett, founder CEO of the Drew Lewis Foundation. There's a market for it, and it's a beautiful way to live, but the problem is Springfield only built that. As a result, we don't have as much higher density housing, often called missing middle housing. This includes townhomes, duplexes, and pocket neighborhoods like Broadway Cottage Courtyard, which Blancett's organization is developing on the north side of town. We'll have houses that are 10 feet away from each other, Blancett says. 2 stories, 1,600 square feet, well-built, cute homes with small front yards. The goal is to provide appealing options for people who want something other than big lot life. That might be young families who are purchasing their first home, or perhaps retirees seeking a low-maintenance situation. In spirit, developments like Broadway Cottage Courtyard resemble suburban HOAs. They both depend on heightened residential ties with distinct neighborhood identity and an emphasis on home ownership. But under current guidelines, higher density housing may be subject to a lengthy approval process. Richard Allis, CEO of Allis Acres Arney Insurance and Business Advisors, formerly former city councilperson and Restore SGF board of directors president, says mental housing is common in bigger cities. You have things like row houses or townhomes that are high quality, single family residences, he says. If those could be included in our zoning code, their construction could receive an administrative approval instead of being treated as exceptions that must go through separate approvals by the Planning and Zoning Commission and the City Council. It would make a big difference to leaders like Blanchett, who says her organization has spent nearly 12 months and $30,000 to rezone the footprint at Broadway Cottage Courtyard and earn necessary plat approval. Without significant resources and patience, it's tough to just survive that gauntlet. That might explain why, when we asked a 48 survey respondents what specific local regulations or processes create the biggest obstacles for your business, 50% of them mentioned zoning regulations, building permit processes, or both. And yet, despite this frustration with processes, people praise the individuals who work in city departments. For example, Alice says that when he was on city council, he worked with great city staffers. What's needed is a change mindset, he said.
SRC Technologies lands $1 million grant to boost electronics assembly, written by Janice Reeser, reporter assisted by AI. SRC Technologies Group in Springfield has been awarded a $1 million grant. The grant, which was awarded November 24, 2025, will be used to create a new electronics assembly line, according to a community announcement. It will also strengthen SRC's ability to serve a fast-growing range of industries that rely on electrified and digital equipment. Missouri State University's Jordan Valley Innovation Center, JVIC, awarded the grant. Work on the new assembly line will begin in early 2026, with completion expected in early 2027. There is a picture of a circuit board. SRC Technologies Groups in Springfield has been awarded the grant, which will be used to build low-volume, high-mix circuit board assembly line. The investment will allow SRC Technologies to build a low-volume, high-mix circuit board assembly line, according to the announcement. This will expand its capacity to produce and remanufacture advanced electronics in-house. By insourcing assembly work that currently relies on external partners, SRC Technologies will enhance quality assurance, reduce lead times, and gain control over rising supply chain costs. This grant puts advanced technology solutions right here in Springfield, Missouri, rather than in overseas factories, Catherine Crockett, Director of Business Development at SRC Technologies Group, said in the announcement. The grant builds on SRC's Technologies' February 2025 initiative, which was supported by a $1 million JVIC grant to harvest and reuse semiconductor chips, according to the announcement. The new assembly line will allow those harvested components to be built into complete, fully functional electronic products. This new grant reinforces our position as a trusted manufacturing partner and helps us expand into the next generation of electronics, Chris Kleinfeld, General Manager of SRC Technology Group, said in the announcement. It's an important step in our long-term strategy to support more electrified products across multiple industries. SRC Technologies Group is a subsidiary of SRC Holdings Corp.
This is from the Springfield News-Leader. Adele's 25 turns 10, Independence Day is 30, and more 2026 milestones by Charles Dunlap. Columbia Daily Tribune. A new year means new music, movies, TV shows, and even books are on the horizon for entertainment. New albums on the way in 2026 include those from A$AP Rocky, Mumford & Sons, and the All-American Rejects per Billboard. Highly anticipated movies, according to Variety, include the Super Mario Galaxy movie, The Devil Wears Prada 2, The Mandalorian and Grogu, The Odyssey, Avengers Doomsday, and Dune Part 3, among many others. Expected TV shows mostly are returning series for new seasons, such as The Pit or Bridgerton. But there are some new shows coming, such as A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms and Lanterns, among others. And finally, a few reboots, including Malcolm in the Middle, Scrubs, and Baywatch, per The Hollywood Reporter. Significant book releases, according to USA Today, include Half His Age by Jeanette McCurdy, Whidbey by T. Kira Madden, and John of John by Douglas Stewart, among others. The Columbia Tribune is part of the USA Today network. But what about what was popular 10, 20, 30, 40, and even 50 years ago. The Tribune is taking a trip through time to look at what was popular or best-selling on these anniversaries. Will there be surprises? Now is the chance to find out. These are the most popular album and songs, highest-grossing films, most-watched TV shows, and best-selling books from 2016, 2006, 1996, and 1986, and 1976. Sources include Billboard charts, worldwide film financial data from Box Office Mojo, Nielsen ratings, and book-selling lists. All the most popular items were released in the respective noted years, with the exception of TV shows, which notes the most popular programs for the year regardless of first airing date. 2016, most popular album, 25 by Adele on the Billboard Hot 200. Most popular song, Love Yourself by Justin Bieber on the Billboard Hot 100 year-end list. Highest grossing film based on worldwide box office per Box Office Mojo, Captain America Civil War with $1.15 billion in ticket sales. Most popular TV show per Nielsen was the regularly scheduled The Big Bang Theory, which first aired in 2007. Shows that were popular with people who recorded to a digital video recorder, such as TiVo for later viewing, but watched within 7 days, were Better Call Saul, started airing in 2015, highest percent of change in viewers, and The Walking Dead started airing in 2010, overall largest change in viewing numbers. The top viewed single program in 2016 was Super Bowl 50 between the Carolina Panthers and the Denver Broncos. The best-selling book was Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which was the stage script written by Jack Thorne from a story developed by Thorne, J.K. Rowling, and John Tiffany. More than 4.1 million copies were sold, according to Nielsen. Notable nonfiction includes Blood of the Water by Heather Ann Thompson, When Breath Become Air by Paul Kalanithi, and Dark Money by Jane Mayer, based on multiple sources. 2006, most popular album, High School Musical movie soundtrack. The most popular song was Bad Day by Daniel Powter, per Billboard charts. Highest grossing film from worldwide box office, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, with $1.06 billion in sales. There's a picture of Bill Nighy, who plays Davy Jones in character, and picture of the monstrous crew of the Flying Dutchman in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. Photo by Ron Batstorff, Disney. Most popular regularly scheduled and time-shifted TV shows were American Idol, first airing in 2002, and Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, premiered in 2006 per Nielsen. Best-selling fiction was For One More Day by Mitch Albom, while nonfiction was Marley and Me by John Grogan, based on Forbes reporting of Nielsen BookScan data. 1996, most popular album, Jagged Little Pill by Alanis Morissette, and the most popular song was Macarena, Bayside Boys Mix by Los Del Rio, based on Billboard charts. Highest grossing film from worldwide box office was Independence Day, with $306 million in domestic ticket sales. This figure is not adjusted for inflation. The number one show in the U.S. was ER, per Nielsen. First airing was 1994. Time-shifted show data was not yet developed, as DVRs did not hit the market until 1999, so rounding out the top three was Seinfeld and Caroline in the City. Best-selling fiction based on Publishers Weekly reporting was The Runaway Jury by John Grisham, and nonfiction was Make the Connection by Oprah Winfrey and Bob Greene. 1986, most popular album was Whitney Houston's self-titled album, and the most popular song was That's What Friends Are For by Dionne Warwick and Friends, Gladys Knight, Elton John, and Stevie Wonder, based on Billboard charts. The highest growing film from worldwide box office was Top Gun, with $176 million in domestic sales, not adjusted for inflation. The top TV show in the U.S. was The Cosby Show, first airing in 1984. Others in the top were Family Ties and Cheers, per Nielsen. While harder to pin down, most sources cite Stephen King's It as the best-selling fiction, while Fatherhood by Bill Cosby was the nonfiction bestseller for the year. In 1986, or 1976, excuse me. Peter Frampton came out on top with Frampton Comes Alive in the Billboard Top 200 albums, while the most popular song on the year-end Billboard Top 100 was Silly Love Songs by the Paul McCartney-fronted band Wings. Rocky was the highest-grossing U.S. film with roughly $117 million in domestic sales. The show with the most audience was Happy Days, first airing in 1974. Others in the top were Laverne and Shirley and the ABC Monday Night Movie. Depending on sources, it was either Trinity by Leon Uris or Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice that were the fiction bestsellers for this year. The most popular nonfiction was, again, depending on the sources, either The Final Days by Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein or The Selfish Gene by Richard Dawkins.
Felt like I was having flashbacks, all the things from my teen years and childhood, having visceral experiences over here. All right, we've got former Auburn WR Eric Singleton signs with Florida football out of portal. Excuse me. The Swampcast, they're showing pictures of the podcast. Swampcast talks Florida football transfer portal moves, Florida basketball. The Suns' Kevin Brockway, Noah Ram, and Andrew Abadi discuss Florida football's latest transfer portal moves and Florida basketball's win over UGA. Florida football secured a potential impact receiver from the transfer portal, signing Auburn wide receiver Eric Singleton on January 10th per multiple reports. The 5'10", 185-pound Singleton from Atlanta, Georgia, had 58 catches for 534 yards and 3 touchdowns last season for the Tigers. Singleton began his career at Georgia Tech, where he caught 104 passes for 1,468 yards and 9 touchdowns in 2 seasons with the Yellow Jackets. A junior, Singleton has 1 year of eligibility remaining. Both On3 and 247 Sports rate Singleton as the number 8 wide receiver in the 2026 portal class. Singleton, who pulled his name out of the NFL draft earlier this week, brings familiarity with the new Florida Gators coaching staff under John Sumrall. He played under both new UF offensive coordinator Buster Faulkner when Faulkner was the OC at Georgia and under new UF wide receivers coach Marcus Davis when Davis was the wide receivers coach at Auburn. Singleton will join a deep and talented Florida wide receivers position group that includes rising sophomores Dallas Wilson, Vernell Brown III, and T.J. Abrams, Georgia Tech transfer Bailey Stockton, Wake Forest transfer Micah Mays Jr., and incoming freshman David Groce, or Gross, not sure.
This is from the Springfield News-Leader. Missouri teen swipes first state record fish of 2025 with Taneycomo bow fishing catch by Stephen Herzog. Key points. 17-year-old Riley Isaacs now holds the Missouri state record for reindeer sunfish. The 2-pound, 3-ounce fish was shot with a bow and arrow at Lake Taneycomo. Isaacs' record falls under the alternative methods category. A Bradleyville teen now holds the state fishing record. According to the Missouri Department of Conservation, Riley Isaacs, 17, was bow fishing at Lake Taneycomo earlier this month when he shot a 2-pound, 3-ounce reindeer sunfish. It was just an ounce heavier than the previous record, also caught from Taneycomo in 2022. According to the department, Isaacs was guiding a bow fishing group looking for carp, but had to cut the trip short due to incoming storms. We sat at the boat ramp for about 30 minutes and realized the storms had passed by, so we decided to put the boat back in and play around for an hour or two. Isaac said, the first flat we pulled up on, she was waiting there. Once Isaac spotted the reindeer sunfish, he immediately suspected it was a state record. We knew as soon as she hit the deck we had something special, he said. Isaac's catch is the first state record fish recorded in 2025. He plans to have a replica made in honor of his achievement. I've shot 3 more of these reindeer sunfish, and I've missed the state record either by an ounce or 2 ounces each time. And now I've finally got the record, he said. Feels awesome. Missouri state record fish are recognized in 2 categories, pull and line and alternative methods. Alternative methods include trot line, throw line, limb line, bank line, jug line, gig, bow, crossbow, and underwater spearfishing, snagging, snaring, grabbing, or ATL.
MDC offers $15,000 reward for info on poachers who illegally shot elk. The Missouri Department of Conservation is offering a $15,000 reward to find the person or persons who illegally shot an elk at a conservation area in southern Missouri. The shooting occurred at Peck Ranch Conservation Area on November 26. Conservation agents found the adult bull elk lying in an open field with a bullet hole in its left shoulder, according to a news release. They also found tire tracks on the scene, indicating a vehicle had driven toward the animal before it circled back and aggressively drove away. The agents said the evidence suggests the shooting was a deliberate act and not a case of someone mistaking the elk for a deer. This was an intentional, brazen, and totally irresponsible act committed by someone with no respect for our wildlife or other people, Conservation Agent Brad Hadley, who performed the necropsy, said, "We are committed to thoroughly investigating wildlife crimes so that those responsible can be held accountable. The wildlife and people we serve deserve nothing less." There is a picture of a video of an MS hunter shot a bobcat in Mississippi. A bear came along and grabbed it. Cade Lott of Sharkey County was hunting in Onward when he shot a bobcat, and before he retrieved it, a black bear came and grabbed it. How to report information on elk poaching in Missouri? Anyone with information related to the shooting can call the Missouri Operation Game Thief Hotline. So that's the Missouri Operation Game Thief Hotline at 1-800-392-1111, 1-800-392-1111. Callers may remain anonymous. The OGT is offering a $15,000 reward for information that leads to the conviction of the poachers who shot the elk. Poaching is stealing valued wildlife resources from all Missourians and must be stopped, OGT Board Chair Jim Kent said. We are offering this reward with the intent of finding those responsible and holding them accountable. The latest incident comes shortly after 3 Missouri men were convicted in Shannon County Court on charges related to the 2023 illegal killing and abandonment of a bull elk. The man directly responsible for the elk poaching was sentenced to 60 days in jail in order to pay a $10,000 fine. However, his jail sentence was suspended on the condition that he successfully completes 2 years of probation and pays the fine in full within 1 year of his sentencing date. The other 2 men each received a $500 fine plus court costs and a mandatory $750 contribution to the Missouri Conservation Heritage Foundation for the illegal take or possession of white-tailed deer.
We are currently broadcasting live from the Blind Community Thrift Store situated at 2713 North Kansas Expressway in Springfield, Missouri. For additional information about our store, please visit our official website at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. To explore more of our video content, including movie reviews with Matt and Meredith, adaptive technology training videos, and other informative material, please visit our YouTube channel by searching for Blind Community Thrift Store. Our organization is dedicated to supporting the blind community through various initiatives, and our online platforms serve as valuable resources for community engagement and education. And this is from Springfield News-Leader. Master Gardener advises on winter tree care planting for pollinators. Helen Vanilla, Master Gardeners of Greene County. Special to the News-Leader. Question: what do I need to do for my trees and shrubs during the winter season? Although trees and shrubs are mostly in a dormant state during winter, they will still require a bit of care and observation to detect any potential problems with them. You should continue watering your trees and shrubs until the ground is frozen, unless a significant amount of precipitation occurs. It is also still possible to plant trees and shrubs before the ground freezes, making sure to plant at the same depth as they were planted at the nursery. It's very important to remove all wires, ropes, or wrapping from the root ball before placing it in the planting hole and backfilling. After that, mulch should be applied and the planting site watered thoroughly. It is also recommended using bark protectors to protect from animal damage. It is very important to apply mulch in a donut, as mulching in a volcano can cause the tree roots to girdle and eventually strangle and kill the tree or shrub. Continue to observe your plantings for any problems, as many conditions such as oak galls will be more visible as the oak trees lose their leaves. Question: I want to start a pollinator-friendly garden but only have a small space. What basic things do I need and which plants are best? A successful pollinator garden doesn't have to be large to make an impact on pollinator habitat, but more careful planting will help ensure success. It is important to focus on native nectar-rich perennials suitable for your area, such as coneflowers, asters, bee balm, and goldenrod, planted in clusters for impact. Some plants are nectar sources, some are host plants for butterflies, so a variety of types is important. Annuals such as zinnias, cosmos, and marigolds also attract many pollinators, as well as providing a longer bloom time. Herbs such as rosemary, lavender, basil, and dill, a host plant, are good when some are allowed to flower. Most of these plants require at least 6 hours of sunlight a day. But if your spot is less sunny, other plants will also do well. It is very important to avoid any use of pesticides, as these will kill the pollinators. In planting your beds, consider a variety of different heights, colors, and bloom times, aiming for something blooming in all 3 growing seasons. Using containers or small beds will help maximize your space, as will going vertically with hanging baskets and tiered planters. There's a method of planting a small pollinator garden known as the 3x3x3 system, suitable for an 8x4 foot area. This involves choosing 3 plants for each of the 3 growing seasons, then planting 3 of each on the 9 selected plants, resulting in 27 plants in a small area just for pollinators. Some suggestions for what to plant for butterflies, both host and nectar plants, include dill, zinnia, coneflower, asters, and yarrow. Bees like many of the above, including bee balm, while hummingbirds are attracted to columbine, salvia, and bee balm. Readers can post questions or get more information by calling 417-874-2963 and talking to one of the trained volunteers staffing the Master Gardener Hotline at the University of Missouri Extension Center in Greene County, located inside the Botanical Center, 2400 South Scenic Avenue, Springfield, Missouri, 65807.
Who are the best college football transfer portal signings after the first week? By Paul Meyerberg, Springfield News-Leader. And Paul Meyerberg is with USA Today. About 4,000 players have already entered the transfer portal since the portal opened on January 2nd, with a growing slice of that number finding a spot with the new program. Here's one way to frame this year's portal bonanza. There are approximately 14,300 players in the Bowl subdivision, with 136 teams and about 105 players per team. Even when subtracting lower division transfers, the number of names in the portal represents about a quarter of all players in the FBS. Already, some of the biggest names and biggest teams in the country have made a transfer splash. That starts with 2 high-profile quarterback transfers in Texas Tech's Brendan Sorsby and Indiana's Josh Hoover. Starting with that pair, let's dig into the early portal happenings by evaluating the best finds and fits among the first round of commitments. Sorsby didn't take long to table hop from the Bearcats to Texas Tech, where he'll replace Barrett Morton and potentially represent a missing piece that carries the Red Raiders deeper into the college football playoff. He has previous Big 12 experience and will bring a different dimension to Tech's offense as one of the top dual-threat quarterbacks. 2,800 passing yards and 580 rushing yards this season in the Power 4. Quarterback Josh Hoover, Indiana. Once a verbal commitment to the Hoosiers under previous coach Tom Allen, Hoover finally arrives in Bloomington after 2+ years as the starters for Sonny Dykes at TCU. In that time, he's developed into one of the most productive passers in the Power 4, though turnovers have been a concern. Like Fernando Mendoza before him, Hoover should keep the Hoosiers' offense humming and contend for the Heisman Trophy. DB Jontez Williams, Southern California, Iowa State. This has been the biggest defensive addition to date. While he'll need to show he's recovered from the knee injury that cost him the second half of this season, Williams was one of Power 4's top cornerbacks when healthy and was on the way to earning All-America accolades. He could be the stopper the Trojans need to take the next step in the Big Ten. Quarterback Drew Mestmaker, RB Caleb Hawkins, and wide receiver Wyatt Young, Oklahoma State, North Texas. These underclassmen are set to follow Eric Morris to Oklahoma State, giving the Cowboys 3 major pieces as building blocks on offense that starred them with the mean green. Mestmaker was terrific as a walk-on freshman, going for 4,379 yards and 34 touchdowns to help North Texas reach the American title game. Hawkins had only lower-level scholarship offers, but ran for 1,434 yards as a true freshman. Young is a rising junior who pulled down a team leading 70 grabs for 1,264 yards in 2025. DT Ian Gefford, Texas, Arkansas. He is a 387-pound rising junior who matches new defensive coordinator Will Muschamp's need for a block-eating, space-filling interior lineman. He started every game in 2025 for the Razorbacks, making 25 tackles, 4 for loss, and should step right into the lineup with the Longhorns set to lose Travis Shaw and Cole Brevard. Wide receiver Nick Marsh, Indiana. This is a huge in-conference addition that will help Indiana replace seniors Elijah Surratt and E.J. Williams Jr. while preparing for the possibility that junior Omar Cooper Jr. opts into the NFL draft. Marsh was the Spartans' offensive bright spot the past 2 years, posting a combined 100 receptions for 1,311 yards. OT Colt Dietrich, Washington, Sam Houston State. The leap from the group of 5 to the power 4 can be difficult for offensive linemen, and Dietrich may struggle in the transition despite ranking among the top tackles in Conference USA in 2025. But the junior is a very solid addition because of his ability to play both tackle spots, making him at minimum a valuable depth piece for the Huskies and potentially the starter on the left side. QB Byram Brown, Auburn, South Florida. Bringing Brown along from USF will help speed up new coach Alex Golesh's rebuilding project. He was a revelation as a first-year starter in 2025 as one of just 2 FBS quarterbacks to throw at least 2,000 yards and run for another 1,000. While those numbers won't carry over to the SEC, Brown's grasp of the system will help the offense hit the ground running after a dismal 3 years under former coach Hugh Freeze. DB Marcus Neal Jr., Penn State, Iowa State. Neal is one of many ISU players who have since followed Matt Campbell to Happy Valley, along with quarterback Rocco Becht, standout tight end Ben Brommer, and young offensive lineman Will Tompkins, among others. Will Becht is the big name in this transfer haul. Neal should have a major impact on the defensive side after earning all-conference honors with 77 tackles, 11 for loss as a first-year starter in 2025. DBJ Crawford, Ole Miss, Auburn. Ole Miss has stayed busy while preparing for the national semifinals against Miami. In addition to retaining star running back Kewan Lacey, Pete Golding and the Rebels will add an SEC-tested cornerback in Crawford, who had an outstanding freshman year in 2024 and made 10 starts for Auburn this season. RB Maki Hughes, Houston, Oregon. After a lost season in Eugene, Hughes looks to reignite his promising career by reuniting with former Tulane coach Willie Fritz. Hughes ran for 1,378 yards in Fritz's scheme in 2023 and then another 1,401 yards and 17 total touchdowns the following year before failing to crack the rotation for the Ducks in 2025. He'll provide a big spark for a running game that went for at least 200 yards in each of the final 4 games of this season.
This is from the Springfield Daily Citizen. Police believe Springfield man used hammer to kill mother of his children. Charging documents made publicly available on Friday paint a grisly picture of what police believe happened to the woman killed in her garage early this week. The 911 call came at 11:22 p.m. Wednesday, January 7th, from the 3500 block of South Juniper Avenue. Officers arrived and found Suzette Flores, 47, from Springfield, dead in the garage. Felipe Ayala III, 34, was quickly identified as the suspect. Ayala was arrested and booked into the Greene County Jail on suspicion of first-degree murder and armed criminal action. There's a picture of Felipe Ayala in the black and white prison outfit. Booking photo by Greene County Sheriff's Office. According to the probable cause statement, the person who called 911 that evening was Ayala's and Flores' child. The caller reported his parents were in the garage of the residence. During the 911 call, the caller stated he could no longer hear his mother and could only hear banging. "My dad is hitting my mother," the caller told the 911 operator. "I need a police officer." Bloody hammer found by the victim's body. According to the statement, a responding officer approached the front door and observed a large amount of blood seeping onto the driveway from under the garage door seal. The officer went to the front door, knocked, and announced his presence, and then saw Ayala through the window on the door. The officer ordered Ayala to exit the home and then put Ayala in handcuffs. The officer opened the garage door and observed Flores' body lying on the ground with her head covered in blood. The officer also observed a hammer near Flores' body. The striking end of the hammer was coated in blood and tissue. Another officer interviewed a neighbor who reported hearing around 11 p.m. a female screaming loudly something to the effect of, "Please stop." The neighbor stated he looked through his doorbell camera and could see a large Hispanic man pacing in the garage of the home and observed the male hitting something on the ground. The witness stated this went on for 15 to 20 minutes. The witness said he could not see the victim and could not see what the male was striking. The witness then reenacted the motion he observed the larger male making, and it was consistent with a hammering motion. The statement said he described the male as being 5'10" and weighing about 300 to 350 pounds. According to the jail website, Ayala is 5'8" and weighs 385 pounds. From 911 call, "I think my dad is coming. I'm very scared." The Springfield police corporal who wrote the probable cause statement listened to the recorded 911 call made by Flores and Ayala's 3 sons and included portions of the caller's comments in the probable cause statement. The corporal wrote that the caller confirmed that his mother and father were in the garage and that he thinks something happened to his mother. The corporal described being able to hear the caller speaking with an older sibling while on the phone with 911. The caller told the older sibling he was on the phone with 911. The older sibling asked why, and the caller said, "Because Dad is hitting Mom." The older sibling replied, "They've been doing this forever, and I'm tired of it." The corporal described hearing the sound of a door opening and the caller saying, "Hold on, ma'am. I think my dad is coming. Are they on the way, ma'am? I'm very scared, ma'am." There's a picture of Suzette Flores. She was 47 when she was killed on January 7th. Then the caller said, "I do not know what he is doing to my mama. I hear banging. She is not yelling or nothing anymore. It is just quiet. I do not hear her anymore. I do not know what he did to her." The corporal wrote the caller could be heard crying and a male voice yelling for the juveniles to come to him. After an audible conversation with the male, the caller gets back on the phone with dispatch, asking dispatch if they're still there, the corporal wrote in the report. A short time later, officers arrived on scene. The caller asked dispatch if the officers can check on his mom. Police. Suspect was splattered with blood. According to the statement, Ayala, who was photographed at the scene, didn't have large amounts of blood on him that would have been indicative of a subject providing life-saving measures to the victim based on the amount of blood at the scene. Instead, the officer noticed that Ayala allegedly had blood splatter on his shoes, shorts, shirt, and both hands. The blood splatter was consistent with blood transfer with velocity and not sparing, the officer wrote in the report. An autopsy was conducted on Thursday, January 8th. Flores died based on blunt force trauma to her head, the officer wrote in the report. The amount of trauma caused to Flores was immense, the officer wrote. In part, there were multiple different strike points on the head of Flores and across her body. Ayala is being held with no bond. He does not yet have an attorney. A close friend of Flores' family created this GoFundMe to help with funeral expenses and provide support for her children.
Art Museum's fundraising leader becomes Foundation's first executive director. There's a picture of Kate Francis in a yellow dress in a professional setting with her hair slicked back. The Springfield Art Museum's top fundraising official has transitioned to the first executive director of its foundation. Kate Francis started January 5th as the inaugural executive director of the Friends of the Springfield Art Museum, which serves as the foundation for the Art Museum, according to a news release. Francis was hired by the Art Museum in 2021 as Museum Affairs Officer for Development and Fundraising, according to past Springfield Business Journal reporting. In that role, Frances led the establishment of the Friends of the Springfield Art Museum in 2021 as the private fundraising arm of the Art Museum. She's also credited with coordinating the Art Museum's $5 million donation from the Sunderland Foundation in 2022 for its capital campaign, as well as spearheading the fundraising of an additional $33 million towards the renovation and expansion master plan. The museum broke ground on Phase 1 of the project in February 2025. The Foundation board members are thrilled to have Kate serve as the organization's first executive director, Foundation Chair Sonia Wise said in the release. The Foundation recently underwent a strategic planning exercise with consulting firm Alexander Haas, and it was clear that now was the time to hire an executive director and formalize the Foundation as an independent, active, and impactful fundraising partner for the Springfield Art Museum and the City of Springfield. Under Frances's leadership, all contributions to the Art Museum will be directed through the Foundation. The Foundation's latest Form 990 on file with the IRS for fiscal 2024 points to roughly $6.2 million in assets and revenue of $907,000. I moved to Springfield to be part of a team making the museum's future a reality, Frances said in the release. It's an honor to continue this important work at such a pivotal moment. The Springfield Art Museum belongs to this community, and through the Foundation, we have an extraordinary opportunity to deepen access to art, strengthen cultural investment, and ensure that creativity, learning, and inspiration remain available to everyone for generations to come. The $35 million Phase 1 work at the Art Museum is slated for completion in late 2027, according to past reporting. The renovation and expansion project is slated to span 3 years in 2 phases. The goal is to finish the project by the museum's 100th anniversary in 2028.
This is from the Springfield Daily Citizen. Springfield man charged with murder following the death of 4-year-old. According to court documents, police say they searched the house and found 3 loaded guns, all reported stolen by Steve Pokin. Prosecutors on Friday, September 12th, charged a 30-year-old Springfield man with murder in the second degree in connection with the August 4th death of a 4-year-old boy who police say picked up a loaded handgun in the home and fatally shot himself. Sean Antoine Collins, also charged with the felonies of endangering the welfare of a child, death of a child, unlawful possession of a firearm, and stealing. Collins was charged with second-degree murder under Missouri's felony murder rule, meaning prosecutors did not allege he killed the child, but rather that Collins was perpetrating a felony and the child died as a result. The underlying felony in this case would be unlawful possession of a firearm, since Collins is a convicted felon. Suspect in custody in county jail. Collins was booked into the Greene County Jail at 8 p.m. Thursday, September 11th. He is being held without bond. On the afternoon of August 8th, police say the 4-year-old boy picked up a loaded gun and shot himself and was rushed to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. The home where this occurred is in the 900 block of North Fulbright Avenue in northwest Springfield. According to court documents, Springfield police searched the house with the permission of Collins and found 3 loaded guns that had been reported stolen. There's a picture of an African-American man with short hair and a red shirt showing Collins, photo by the Greene County Jail. Police found an ammunition magazine under the bathroom sink. It appeared to have blood on it, according to court documents. Police believe the magazine goes to a Glock 43 firearm, which the boy apparently was handling when he killed himself. The gun had been left loaded on a counter under the television in what was described as the game room, according to police. The loaded gun was easily accessible to the boy, according to police. This firearm has also been reported stolen, according to court documents. Defendant says it wasn't his gun. According to police, an adult friend of Collins had come to the residence. This person is not named in public court documents. The friend brought a gun with him and showed it to Collins. Collins told police that it was his friend's gun, not his own gun, that was left loaded and accessible to the boy, according to documents. Nevertheless, according to police, Collins admitted to using the same gun years earlier in a parking lot. When the boy fired the gun, the adults were outside grilling and using marijuana when they heard the gunshot from inside the residence, according to court documents. It was the friend who called 911. The friend told police that he believes Collins went inside and made an attempt to hide the various firearms before police arrived, according to court documents. Court documents do not describe the relationship between Collins and the deceased boy. Collins allegedly told police he was unaware that he was a convicted felon and could not lawfully possess firearms. Court documents say Collins was convicted of 2 felonies in DuPage County, Illinois. In 2013, he was convicted of obstructing justice and destroying evidence. In 2015, he was convicted of felony retail theft. The probable cause document written by an investigator states, despite this, he was in possession of 3 stolen firearms. Those guns were loaded and unsecured, which resulted in the death of a 4-year-old child. Sean was shown repeated disregard for the law enforcement, and orders of the court. As of Friday afternoon, Collins did not have an attorney representing him.
Missouri Lottery Powerball Pick 3 winning numbers for January 12th, 2026. The Missouri Lottery offers several draw games for those aiming to win big. Here's a look at January 12th, 2026 results for each game. Winning Powerball numbers 5, 27, 45, 56, 59, Powerball 4, Power Play 2. Winning Pick 3 numbers from the January 12th drawing: Midday 206, Midday Wild 6, Evening 713, Evening Wild 6. Winning Pick 4 numbers from the January 12th drawing: Midday 3903, Midday Wild 0, Evening 8277, Evening Wild 1. Winning Cash for Life numbers from January 12th drawing: 19, 22, 28, 45, 60, Cash Ball 4. Winning Cash Pop numbers from January 12th drawing: Early Bird 9, Morning 1, Matinee 1, Primetime 10, Night Owl 14. Winning Show Me Cash numbers from January 12th drawing: 27, 28, 31, 32, 35. Winning Powerball double play numbers from January 12th: 11, 23, 24, 54, 56. Powerball 5. Are you a winner? Here's how to claim your lottery prize. All Missouri lottery retailers can redeem prizes up to $600. For prizes over $600, winners have the option to submit their claim by mail or in person at one of Missouri Lottery's regional offices by appointment only. To claim by mail, complete a Missouri Lottery winner claim form, sign your winning ticket, and include a copy of your government-issue photo ID along with a complete IRS Form W-9. Ensure your name, address, telephone number, and signature are on the back of your ticket. Claims should be mailed to Ticket Redemption, Missouri Lottery, P.O. Box 7777, Jefferson City, Missouri 65102-7777. For in-person claims, visit the Missouri Lottery headquarters in Jefferson City or one of the regional offices in Kansas City, Springfield, or St. Louis. Be sure to call ahead to verify hours and check if an appointment is required. For additional instructions or to download the claim form, visit the Missouri Lottery Prize Claim page. When are the Missouri Lottery drawings held? Powerball is at 9:59 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Mega Millions, 10 p.m. Tuesday and Friday. Pick 3, 12:45 p.m. midday and 8:59 p.m. evening daily. Pick 4, 12:45 p.m. midday and 8:59 p.m. evening daily. Cash for Life, 8 p.m. daily. Cash Pop, 8 a.m. early bird, 11 a.m. late morning, 3 p.m. matinee, 7 p.m. prime time, and 11 p.m. night owl daily. Show Me Cash, 8:59 p.m. daily. Lotto, 8:59 p.m. Wednesday and Saturday. Powerball Double Play, 9:59 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday.
This is from the Springfield Business Journal. Feds say restaurateur serving sentence hasn't replied to restitution lawsuit by Gregory Holman, deputy editor. Editors note this report was updated at 4:18 p.m. on January 12, 2026 to reflect a reassignment order issued by the U.S. Magistrate Judge overseeing the case shortly after SBJ's initial report was posted. The U.S. government is seeking an entry of default against former Springfield restaurant owner Michael Phelps for failing to respond by the court-ordered deadline, according to a pair of documents filed in federal courts on January 9th. Entry of default is an order entered in anticipation of a final judgment, formally recognizing that a party in a case has failed to plead or otherwise defend their side of the matter. Prosecutors allege Phelps still owes the federal taxpayer almost $8.2 million in restitution. The Friday court filings were part of a civil lawsuit filed September 4th. Phelps is now serving a 24-month sentence on his 2023 plea agreement conviction for COVID-era Paycheck Protection Program fraud, according to past Business Journal reporting. The January 9th court filing by federal prosecutors alleges that prior to his criminal sentencing in December 2024, but after Phelps' 2023 plea agreement, in which he admitted to participating in a wire fraud conspiracy, Phelps transferred his ownership of an LLC linked to White River Brewery on historic Commercial Street to his then-wife, Jennifer Obert. The two divorced in March 2025, federal court shows. As part of Phelps' plea agreement, prosecutors stated in court filings that he agreed to pay some $9.9 million in restitution, and then he promised to make no transfer of assets or property for the purpose of evading financial obligations created by the plea agreement. Federal prosecutors allege that by transferring the White River Brewery assets to Obert, Phelps sought to transfer the property to avoid paying his restitution judgment. Online Federal Bureau of Prisons records, confirmed by a call to an official with the Bureau this morning, show Phelps is in custody at a halfway house overseen by a Bureau of Prisons Residential Reentry Management Field Office based in Kansas City, Kansas. When reached by SBJ for a brief phone interview with a rough audio connection today, Phelps, listed in federal court records as representing himself in the case, challenged the actions of federal prosecutors in the civil lawsuit and said, "I'm not supposed to talk to you anyway," before ending the call. SBJ asked for comment today, but Fred Brian Olson, a Springfield-based attorney representing Obert along with WR Brewery Holdings, LLC, and White River Brewery, LLC, but did not receive a response to a call and email by deadline. Obert is named as a defendant in the September 4th federal lawsuit, along with WR Brewery Holdings and White River Brewery. Court filings show that Obert and the two business ventures waived service and timely filed an answer on December 30th, 2025, but alleged that Phelps did not do so. Also today, U.S. Magistrate Judge Jill A. Morris issued an order to reassign the case to a different judge. The new order came following SBJ's publication online of reporting on the request for default against Phelps by federal prosecutors. According to her order, Morris instructed the court clerk to randomly assign the case to an Article II district judge for all further proceedings. Due to the nature of the pending motion, and because all parties have not consented to jurisdiction before me.
Federal prosecutors open criminal investigation into the Fed and Jerome Powell. Federal prosecutors have opened a criminal investigation of Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell over his June testimony before Congress about the central bank's $2.5 billion renovation of its headquarters in Washington, D.C. The stunning action against the independent Federal Reserve was met with an equally extraordinary statement posted by Powell in a video Sunday night, in which he said the investigation was a direct result from his ongoing struggle with the administration over interest rates. Powell said it was a consequence of broader threats and ongoing pressure by the administration. The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preference of the president, Powell said in a statement late Sunday. You can get more from CNN.
This is from 417 Magazine, Best Restaurants in Springfield, Missouri. Best of 417 is our comprehensive guide to the best restaurants in Springfield and Southwest Missouri, featuring our best of 417 picks as voted by our readers and our editors' picks. And it says 5 best Springfield area fine dining restaurants, winners in alphabetical order. Avanzari Italian Dining, Flame Steakhouse and Wine Bar, Jim's Steakhouse and Pub, Metropolitan Grill, the Ozark Mill Restaurant. 5 best places for lunch: Bambino's Cafe, City Butcher and Barbecue, Jim's Steakhouse and Pub, Nearly Famous Deli and Pasta House, Neighbors Mill Bakery and Cafe. Best Neighborhood Restaurant: Piccolo and Nixa. 2nd place, Galloway Grill in Galloway. 3rd place, Cafe Cusco, Commercial Street. Best Branson Area Restaurant: the Keeter Center at the College of the Ozarks. 2nd place, Osage Restaurant at Top of the Rock. 3rd place, Level 2 Steakhouse. Best Joplin Area Restaurant: Red Onion Cafe. 2nd place, Blackstone Gastropub. 3rd place, Krabby's Seafood Bar and Grill. Best Sweet and Cozy Morning Stop: The Workshop at Finley Farms. 2nd place, Sleepy Possum Cafe. 3rd place, Urban Grounds Coffee plus Plant Lab. Best Restaurant Service winner, Jim's Steakhouse and Pub, 2nd place. The Keeter Center at College of the Ozarks. 3rd place, the Ozark Mill Restaurant. Best Place for Breakfast winner, Gailey's Breakfast Cafe. 2nd place, Early Bird Breakfast Pub. 3rd place, Billy Gale's Restaurant. Best Place for Brunch winner, the Keeter Center at College of the Ozarks. 2nd place, Aviary Cafe. 3rd place, JW's Kitchen. Best Coffee Shop, Mudhouse Coffee. 2nd place, Architect Coffee Company. 3rd place, Dancing Mule Coffee Company. Best Steaks winner, Jim's Steakhouse and Pub. 2nd place, Flame Steakhouse and Wine Bar. 3rd place, Avanzari Italian Dining. Best Burgers winner, Black Sheep Burgers and Shakes. 2nd place, Lindbergh's Tavern. 3rd place, Bear's Sports Grill. Best Salads winner, Jim's Steakhouse and Pub. 2nd place, Bambino's Cafe. 3rd place, Garbo's Pizzeria. Best Sandwiches winner, The Sub Shop. 2nd place, Derby Deli. 3rd place, J. Perino's Queen City Deli. Best Pizza, Papo's Pizzeria. 2nd place, Pizza House. 3rd place, Eris Pizza. Best Chicken Wings, Coyote's Adobe Cafe. 2nd place, Big Whiskey's American Restaurant and Bar. 3rd place, Springfield Brewing Company. Best Barbecue, City Butcher and Barbecue. 2nd place, Gettin' Basted. 3rd place, Crosstown Barbecue. Best Italian Food, Avanzari Italian Dining is the top winner. 2nd place, Bambino's Cafe. 3rd place, Piccolo Contemporary Italian. Best Mexican Food, Cesar's Old Mexico. 2nd place, Senior Julian Mexican Bar and Grill. 3rd place, La Paloma Mexican Grill. Best Tacos, Caesar's Old Mexico. 2nd place, Tinga Tacos. 3rd place, Tacos El Champu. Best Food Truck winner, London Calling Pasty Company. 2nd place, I Love Tacos Taqueria. 3rd place, Nacho Ordinary Taco. Best Thai Food, Everyday Thai. 2nd place, Rama Thai Cafe. 3rd place, Thai Express. Best Chinese Food, Corner 21 Chinese Cuisine. 2nd place, Leong's Asian Diner. 3rd place, Lucy's Chinese Food. Oh my goodness. Best Sushi winner, Haruno Japanese Sushi Bar and Grill. 2nd place, Nakato Japanese Steakhouse and Sushi Bar. 3rd place, Kai After Dark. Best Beer Menu winner, 417 Tap House. 2nd place, The Backlot at Alamo Draft House. 3rd place, Farmer's Gastropub. Best Cocktail Menu winner, the Golden Girl Room Club. 2nd place, the Ozark Mill Restaurant. 3rd place, Miss Boston's Cocktail Lounge. Best Local Brewery Experience winner, Wire Road Brewing Company. 2nd place, 4x4 Brewing Company. 3rd place, Springfield Brewing Company. Best Wine Menu, Cellar Plus Plate. 2nd place, the Vineyard Market. 3rd place, Avanzari Italian Dining. Best Sweet Treats winners is Andy Frozen's Custard. 2nd place, the Keeter Center College Creamery. 3rd place, Pineapple Whip. Best Caterer, Simply Delicious Catering. 2nd place, Char Steakhouse and Oyster Bar. 3rd place, Traveling Chef. Best Vegetarian Friendly Options winner, Cafe Cusco. 2nd place, Farmer's Gastropub. Gastropub. Third place, Piccolo Contemporary Dining. Best gluten-free options, winner Cafe Cusco. Second place, Black Sheep Burgers and Shakes. Third place, Van Gogh's Eatery. Best patio, winner Wire Road Brewing Company. Second place, 4x4 Brewing Company, Fremont Hills. Third place, Thai and Timber Beer Company. Best patio with a view, winner the Ozark Mill Restaurant. Second place, Buffalo Bar at Top of the Rock. Third place, Vantage Rooftop Lounge and Conservatory. Best place to run into everyone you know, Architect Coffee Company. Second place, Metropolitan Grill. And third place, Georgia Max.
All right. We have the Brewer Science preparing expansion into Stratford manufacturing plant, and there is a picture of the warehouse with some construction going on, provided by Rich Kramer Construction. Brewer Science has purchased a building in the Southwest Missouri Rail and Business Park in Stratford with the intention of adding manufacturing space. Pictured is a separate speculative building under construction in the industrial park in 2023. Rolla-based Brewer Science Inc. has purchased a building in Stratford's Southwest Missouri Rail and Business Park, but the company is not revealing its plans for it. It's going to provide some immediate growth for us, said Ryan Moss, Brewer Science Executive Director for Smart Devices. We expect for it to be a manufacturing space for some next-generation products. Moss also said he couldn't say much about the plans, but verified the purchase of Lot 6 in the industrial park, as described in a December public records listing in Springfield Business Journal, an $11.7 million purchase with Commerce Bank as the lender. Brewer Science describes itself on its website as a leader in materials research. It states its technology portfolio includes lithography, packaging, smart devices, and printed electronics to enable micro devices and monitoring systems for industrial, environmental, and air applications. Rich Kramer, developer of the industrial park through RCR Ozark LLC, declined to offer a detailed comment on the purchase, noting in an email that he had signed a non-disclosure agreement. They are quietly going to build inside the building they had purchased, and I don't know what their total plans are, he said. Moss said Brewer Science will not be starting its Stratford manufacturing operation immediately, with construction to modify the building to take place through the first quarter of 2026. We will expect to add some jobs in the near future, but I can only give generalizations, he said. A brochure by real estate firm R.B. Murray Company, which brokered the deal, lists Lot 6 as 10.4 acres at a cost of $70,000 per acre. The industrial park is sited at Highway 125 and Highway 00 in Stratford. Brewer Science website lists a headquarters at 2401 Brewer Drive in Rolla, with an additional location in Springfield at the Jordan Valley Innovation Center at 524 North Boonville Avenue. Other manufacturing facilities and offices are located in Vichy, Missouri, as well as England, France, Japan, South Korea, China, Taiwan, and Hong Kong.
This is from 417 Magazine, the story behind Asa Al Farhat Coffee and Bakery. From Iraq to Springfield, Missouri, Imtihan Alad shares sweet treats that bring the perfect combination of little joys and big comfort by Tessa Cooper. There's a picture of a lady with shoulder-length dark brown hair with a black sweater. It says, Imtihan Alad opened Asa Al Farhat Coffee and Bakery with her mother, Manal Al-Saker, in the fall of 2025. When Imtihan Alad was 11, she and her family fled from their home in the Iraqi city of Mosul to Turkey to seek refuge from the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, ISIS. During such an uncertain time in her life, sipping tea was a daily ritual that always brought her comfort. Every morning before school, her mom would make her a cup of tea with milk, and she'd savor it. Alad is now 21, and today you can find her serving cups of tea with milk as well as other delicious drinks and baked goods alongside her mother, Manal Al-Saker, with their own bakery, Asa Al Farhat Coffee and Bakery, 207 Park Central East, Springfield. Both of us love to bake, and we like to spend time with each other a lot, she says. Alad has dreamed of opening a bakery and coffee shop for her entire life. So when she got laid off from her job in January 2025, she saw it as an opportunity to make it a reality. First, she began offering traditional Iraqi desserts at the C Street City Market. She received an overwhelming positive response and realized that there was a market for these global flavors in the Ozarks. She opened Asa Alfarat Coffee and Bakery this past fall and is introducing the community to flavors they might not ever have the chance to experience otherwise. My goal is to share my culture, and I want people to know Iraq in a good way, she says. When they try the desserts, I hope they will realize it's a beautiful country with a beautiful culture. It's not just about war. Must-try dishes from Asa Alfarat Coffee and Bakery. Zanud El Sit, there is some overlap when it comes to favorite desserts in many Middle Eastern countries, but to Alad's knowledge, no other country serves a dessert quite like this traditional Iraqi favorite. Zanud El Sit is a cream-filled pastry that features a crispy phyllo dough. One serving comes with a set of 3, each drenched in a sweet rosewater syrup. Orange cake, Alad developed this recipe herself. A blend of spices and a dash of rosewater ground the bright citrus flavor in this dense cake. Iraqi black tea. Everyone is always drinking tea everywhere in Iraq, Alad says. So if I were to suggest something to drink and feel the culture, it's going to be the tea. Sipping this hot, unsweetened tea is an olfactory experience as well, thanks to the addition of cardamom.
All right, so Springfield Business Journal events. At the third Tuesday of every month, they have Springfield Business Journal's People You Need to Know live interview series. The next one event is going to be January 20th. Join us on the third Tuesday of each month for a live interview with local professionals handpicked by our editorial team. Be in the room to network with area business people, listen in on a live interview conducted by SBJ's Christine Temple, and have the opportunity to ask your questions. Springfield Business Journal's People You Need to Know, your front row seat to business connections and candid conversations. The next event date is going to be January 20th, 2026. The featured guest is Hal Higdon, Ozark Technical Community College. He is why you need to know Hal Higdon. Amid an uptick in enrollment and several recent facility investments, the leader of Ozarks Technical Community College reaches 20 years on the job this summer. The location, the backlot at Alamo Draft House, 4005 South Avenue, Springfield. The time will be 3:30 p.m. for appetizers and networking, 4 p.m. live interview, 4:40 p.m. audience Q&A. Tickets for January 20th happy hour are $35. The purchase includes admission, light hors d'oeuvres, and 1 drink ticket. The February speaker will be announced at the January event. Stay in the know and attend monthly. Tickets can be found at sbj.net/people2known. That's all uppercase. sbj.net/people2know.
This is from 417 Magazine. It says best breakfasts in Springfield and beyond. Find the ultimate breakfast in Springfield, Missouri, and go all out for the most important meal of the day by Tessa Cooper and Katie Pollock Estes. There's a picture of a plate of, looks like home fries, 2 fried eggs, and marble rye toast. The smoked tri-tip and hash brown from Billy Gale's is a non-pancake dish worthy of your attention. That's what the picture was. Okay. If you're anything like us, breakfast at home is usually yogurt, with or without exciting toppings, depending on your grocery situation, or some sad little egg, either one more a utilitarian belly filler than a culinary delight. But this story isn't about breakfast at home. It's about the days when you want to indulge in something better. It's about waking up and dining rather than waking up and eating. It's about relentless cravings for crispy waffles, crispier bacon, burritos packed with absolutely everything, and even some crunchy cocktails to start the day off on an extra indulgent foot. So put down that plastic tub of yogurt, please, and read on for your guide to some of Southwest Missouri's most creative and delicious morning meals. The Aviary by Lavender Falls. Breakfast starts at 8 a.m. Monday to Saturday, and 9 a.m. on Sunday. It's at 2144 East Republic Road, Suite E120, Springfield. one of the few places to get crepes for breakfast. Aviary offers those darling French pancakes in both sweet and savory iterations, but that isn't the only draw. A full breakfast menu has a little of something for everybody, and we love our creative takes on things like shrimp and grits or breakfast hash. Theirs is made with steak. Yum. What to order at Aviary by Lavendary Falls. For a sweet tooth, banana bread Foster's with whipped goat cheese. For a savory bite, Poulet Perdue with French toast, fried chicken, and hot honey. For eating light, the avocado toast with pickled red onions, cherry tomatoes, caramelized onions, and goat cheese. For a gut bomb, breakfast poutine with Mornay sauce and 3 meats. Must-try morning cocktail, bottomless mimosas because it's been a long week. Mood, the treat-yourself vibe that you want when you take your best friend out to brunch to celebrate her birthday. Billy Gale's. Breakfast starts at 7 a.m. daily. It's at 5291 State Highway 265 Branson and at 1882 West James River Road, Ozark. Ever since it opened last year, the second Billy Gale's location, this one in Ozark, has been bustling. That comes as no surprise, though, since the original Branson location has been a hot spot for years. We think it's due to the classic, nostalgic diner atmosphere that's paired with reliably delicious morning fare. What to order at Billy Gale's. For a savory bite, $1 billion bacon baked to sweet and spicy perfection. For a sweet tooth, sweet cream vanilla pancakes bigger than the plate. For eating light, mushroom omelet with cheddar jack cheese. For a gut bomb, smoked tri-tip and hash with fried potatoes and eggs. Must try morning drink. Go for the diner classic, warm coffee in a cozy mood. An old school diner vibe with walls full of kitsch and a soundtrack of clinking silverware and satisfied mms. The Derby Deli, 2023 South Gunstone Avenue, Springfield. When Derby Deli debuted its coffee service in November 2024, we didn't realize that those cappuccinos and pastries were foreshadowing something even bigger, Sunday brunch. The not-so-hidden gem inside Brown Derby Wine Center now greets the beginning of each week with toasts layered with toppings, lots of eggs and bacon, and refreshing breakfast cocktails. Here are some must-try offerings. For something local, the biscuits and gravy show off drop biscuits made by pastry chef Kyle Davis and smoked sausage gravy. The menu denotes that they are available until sellout, so you know they're good. For something sweet, the almond butter banana toast on wheat berry is simple, yet surprisingly delightful with almond butter banana slices, a drizzle of honey, and a sprinkle of cinnamon. For something unique, if you're a cured salmon fan, you'll love ordering this one. The smoked salmon board is a build-your-own experience where you get to decide how much mascarpone, cheese, capers, arugula, and pickled red onions to include on your croissant. For something to wake you up, the caramel latte is made with Coop's salted caramel sauce. Pick up a jar to take home because it's an incredibly creamy and divine addition to any coffee. For something to wind you down, try the Ruby Rosé, a refreshing way to kick off the day with elderflower, grapefruit, and organic Prosecco by Talverga. Early Bird Breakfast Pub. Breakfast starts at 7 a.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. Sunday. It's 1717 East Cherokee Street, Springfield. The extensive menu at Early Bird Breakfast Pub has a few distinct personalities. The list of morning tacos and burritos for lovers of handheld meals. The list of bird nests, puff pastry meals for anybody who appreciates a pretty bite. And, of course, the classics like creative omelets and Sammy's for traditionalists. What to order at Early Bird Breakfast Pub. For a sweet tooth, bluebird bird's nest with fruit, granola, and honey and puff pastry. Thank you. Thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Tune in every week, Monday through Friday, on the Blind Community Thrift Store's YouTube channel at 10 a.m. for more up-to-date news from the Springfield News-Leader, Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield Business Journal, and 417 Magazine. Listen after we are live on the Audio Reader Network at www.reader.ku.edu. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz at 91.1 from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio.